What if you were the living embodiment of all pervasive peace? What if all sentient beings all around you increased their vibration towards harmony by merely being in your contact? What if through conscious reasoning, focused will, and intentional living, you reform yourself, thereby becoming a catalyst and sparking transformation in others? I'm Shilpa Lewis, meditation and mindfulness coach for midlife mompreneurs, and you are listening to Omnipresent Awareness, the podcast that will inspire you to use your story to serve humanity in not just healing, but thriving as souls, each fulfilling their highest purpose. Welcome to Omnipresent Awareness with Shilpa. This is your host, Shilpa Lewis, owner and founder of Omni Mindfulness Coaching. Before we get started, if you haven't already booked a free discovery session with me, click on the link in the description. I'm a holistic transformational life coach, specializing in helping midlife mompreneurs bring balance, clarity, and life alignment both personally and professionally so that you may live your best life. There is tremendous healing value in simply being able to know someone is holding authentic space for you to listen and be accessible as an accountability partner and mentor. If you feel overwhelmed or if you feel the need for some support navigating life as a mother or as an entrepreneur, I would love to provide you with my coaching. If any anecdotes from the stories of the guests from this episode or any of the podcast episodes resonate with you, or if you find any value at all from the content from these episodes, then consider booking a free discovery call with me. Together, we can manifest my vision to be instrumental in the biggest rise in consciousness and awareness and human transformation. And now, here is today's episode. Next up, a conversation with Debbie Tyndall. Debbie can be best described as a spunky woman with a fire in her belly to go after her dreams and overcome life challenges. At various stages in her life, she has certainly been tested. When Debbie was about to turn 50, she found herself in the eye of a storm. She had taken on a major home remodel project just as the world went into lockdown due to the pandemic. However, she didn't miss a beat as she juggled motherhood, being a loving wife, and working full-time as an accountant for a major pharmaceutical company. Towards the end of 2019, just as she was moving warp speed ahead in completing her home project, she received an incredibly intimidating cancer diagnosis. She was suddenly required to not only slow down, but given an opportunity to focus on her health. And this is when she realized what really matters is her family, especially her 8-year-old son, and being truly present for him. This new challenge allowed herself to identify what is real in life. She realized it's not about where you are in life, it's about who is on your side that matters the most. She fiercely held on to a positive attitude, her faith, and her close network of family and friends in her journey to beat cancer and to go on to live her best life. And now, here's Debbie. Well, thank you, Debbie, for being here.
Hi, Shilpa. Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Of course. Well, without further ado, let's get started. And could you share with our audience your resiliency story as a working mom, overcoming life challenges, and anything that could include, such as the recent pandemic, cancer? You've had quite a bit of things going on with your life and our lives.
Yeah, for sure. the last few years have been challenging for so many of us. When the pandemic hit, prior to the pandemic, being a working mom, a wife, and drenched in her career, always on the go, just really being swallowed up by being a mom and trying to find balance that I could never seem to find. The pandemic hit, and we were really in a situation where, we were all forced to stay home. So my husband and I at the time thought, okay, let's paint the front bathroom. Let's start doing a little fun projects around the house. And one little project created a whole remodel. And it was a lot to take on. But, we finally had the opportunity where we were forced to stay home, and we can now address certain things that we've been wanting to do for so long. So we started gutting our place, and we actually lived here the whole time. So there was many moments where we felt like we were just camping in our own living environment. Not only were we folding both of our careers down, we were doing this massive remodel. We were teachers and educator to our son, and really just trying to transition like so many of us that were out there. So time went on, we were starting to see the light, things were coming together here at the house, but many long hours. And, towards the end of 2020, it was around the holiday time, and it was like, wow, we can finally breathe a little bit and kind of sit back and enjoy all the hard work that we've done, a labor of love, finally, after all these years, to create something completely on our own. My husband did a lot of designing in terms of like the kitchen layout and that sort of thing. And although I'm an accountant and have this whole analytical side of my brain, I'm also a very creative and spiritual person that I finally was able to tap into the creative side of it, the interior design that I just really enjoyed so much. And I'm a big fan of Joanna Gaines, and I really was inspired by a lot of her work. And so I did a lot of research and pulled a lot of her inspiration into the design of our home. And it was shortly after all this kind of started to settle down, I had felt a little side pain, and I had a slight cough, and I didn't know if I had pulled something for lifting or just wasn't sure what was really going on. So I being an older mom, I have a tendency to worry. And, as you get older, you kind of feel certain aches and pains, and you just kind of want to explore and make sure, what is this, without over worrying. And, long story short, I just am really glad that I was mindful about my own health and wellness at that time and chose to explore. And I did that. And unfortunately, fortunately, I guess I should say, is I had a big life awakening and was put in front of amazing physicians that unraveled what was really going on inside my body. And I really just didn't have a clue, being so driven, so ambitious, so on the go, just not realizing that something very serious was going on in my body. So not only did we find a mass, probably a little bigger than a 50-cent piece on my left lung, we also discovered that I had a blood clot in my left lung, which took me to the emergency room, which led to more discovery. And I just fell into all the right hands at the right time, and just knew that I was being held by something more higher and powerful than myself. And after learning, sorry, Shilpa, I get really emotional talking about this.
Absolutely.
But here I am all of a sudden in this emergency room, not having any family with me because, oh, by the way, we're still in a pandemic. And so I just thank so many people at Scripps and Sneedus who've taken good care of me over there. And when I went in on a Tuesday, by Friday, I knew exactly what was going on. And not only did I have a mass in my lung and a blood clot, but we also discovered that it had metastasized and moved to my liver, my lymph nodes, and up to my brain. So here I was starting a new year after completing a remodel. Now I have this health situation that I have to deal with. And as scary as it was, I instantly went into resilient mode, and I just knew that I had to fight and put myself first and take care of myself like I've never had before. And it's such a shame that it takes something so drastic like this to wake somebody up. I started praying a lot. I started meditating. I worked with a wellness doctor who completely changed my way of eating. And it was important with everything that I had going on is to get my body more in an alkaline position to help me prepare to fight. So I saw myself with being this Eastern and Western blend and finding that happy medium for myself to get through this. This diagnosis came to me at the end of January of this year. Month after month went by. I also got put on this amazing drug called Trigriso, and it went in, and this is how crazy science has gone. They were able to go in, do a biopsy, and determine exactly what DNA of the cancer cell that I had so that they can determine the exact treatment that would be the most effective. But it's everything. It's everything that I had to do the work from, being mindful and keeping myself calm and allowing myself and giving myself permission to process my emotions in a positive way. I've always been very driven and been a very outgoing, positive, high energy kind of gal. And I've always worked really hard for everything that I have achieved in life. So to me, getting cancer was maybe a little bit of an inconvenience, but I knew that I was going to beat it down and win. I was that determined. So time went on. Had radiation on my brain. I put it out there that I didn't want my hair to be fully gone. And I had a little bit of hair loss, but I ended up not losing it all. So that was a win. That happened very early on. I kept putting my energy out there and meditating and praying for, the best possible results. And I ended up finding I had non-small cell lung cancer and not lung cancer, which out of the two, I had the better one, the better out of the two. So that was a win. My oncologist gave me a tour of the facility of where I might be going to get my infusions. And I was like, there's no way in hell I'm sitting in here. I am not hanging out here. Sorry. Week goes by. I find out what the biopsy was. I didn't need it. I was able to get immunotherapy by this amazing drug that was 85% efficacy rate to go in and attack the DNA of the cells and really just destroy them. As time went on, I kept doing my work, exercise, as much as I was told to do, yoga, meditation, walking, being very spiritual. And that's all I had around me. I kept anything or anyone that was negative, whether if I felt it was an energy that didn't complement where I was in life, I pushed it all aside. And I was focused on healing and getting better. And I had a lot of motivation with my husband and my son. And the beautiful story about all of this is it made me look real deep inside where I was and how I was living. And it was like I had to make a change. And I'm really blessed to sit here and talk with you and share that I am 9 months later into this journey. And I am in complete remission. And it is mind blowing. So the work doesn't stop here. I'm going to continue living a good, healthy life and hopefully be able to provide hope to so many people that are going through something like this. Because as we get older, we have fear. We have lots of fear of cancer because it's around us more. It's more in our face. We're all getting older. And that's kind of what we're hearing a lot of. And I was that person. I did fear getting cancer. And now all of a sudden I was in that situation. And all I can say is to so many people out there is that you can have cancer and choose to thrive. It no longer has to be a death sentence for anybody.
Absolutely. And you have thrived in the most brilliant way through all of this, Debbie.
And I just am very grateful to have had this experience come to life, to change my direction of where I'm going for my future, and to really want to be healthy and find better balance in my mind, from my body, from my soul. And what I would say to so many people out there is really make the time for yourself, even if it's 5 minutes. I find myself meditating throughout many moments of my day. Sometimes I set that intention that I'm going to get up, I'm going to meditate, I'm going to, and it just doesn't happen for me that way. So I find myself maybe sitting in the car before I go to Stater Brothers or Trader Joe's and just having a quiet moment. One of the things through the whole cancer experience that I've been fortunate enough to have is my husband built me this amazing space. I have this beautiful she shed here at home that was just a small space completely dedicated for myself. And it was an area for me to just heal and get real deep and spiritual.
That's the room
and focus on just healing and getting better. And when I made the choice that I was going to heal myself, I knew that I had to really dig deep, because so many of us go through life, and before you know it, you're adding layers of just life hurts and just things that go on that you just are young and you just don't have the maturity or the skills to kind of figure things out. But it doesn't mean that they don't completely go away as you mature and get older. So I've just been really doing the work internally and spiritually and physically. And I am very hopeful. And I know that I can inspire so many people out there.
So for our listeners, they might be really curious that you are being interviewed from your she shed.
Yes, I am sitting here in my she shed. I can show you around. It's super cute. It's got, I begin each day with a grateful heart. I have everything that's positive in here. It's just this really cute little room. It feels good. It's warm. I can lay my yoga mat out. I can sit here and write and be creative and pour my thoughts into this space, and without thinking too far ahead of where life may take me professionally, I'm just being extremely open and I'm putting all my energy and effort out to finding life with passion. I want to live life with a purpose and with a passion and not get swallowed up by a career that you get lost in and you don't take care of yourself in.
And that's the thing with a lot of women, especially women that choose a career path early in life. We get swallowed up. It's a challenge, and then life happens along the way. You've triumphed through all this. You mentioned a lot of modalities, mindfulness modalities you've integrated. Were these practices you had before in your life, or did you?
I did. It's kind of in my 30s, I had this idea that I was going to become a yoga instructor, because when I became a mom, I thought this would force me to stay in shape and be very well balanced. And I probably got 2 classes in and never followed through because of my professional career always once again getting in the way. So the many things that I really wanted to do for myself and started doing, it certainly didn't take long for me to have to keep stepping backwards and getting swallowed up on, a very, a career as an accountant who it's just, day in and day out, long hours, very mental, just very high level of stress. And I'm 51 now, but I had my child very late in life. So, he's the biggest blessing I could have ever asked for. And for me, he didn't come naturally. My husband and I went through in vitro. So I have a great appreciation for science and, but that was a struggle within itself. So this last couple years of being able to do a remodel of something we've been wanting to do was great. And then going into a new year, being diagnosed with cancer, and it was a very significant diagnosis. I mean, I was in complete shock, and I never once really worried about myself or cried about, you have those moments, am I going to die? What's going to go on? It's all natural, but I refused to let it think that it was going to take me out. I was too motivated to want to be here for my family and be the one to raise my son because of what I did to even achieve him.
Debbie, I also get really choked up when I hear your story. It's you not only came through, but you entered a new, I would call your second act in your life.
Yeah.
The very creative part of you is now emerging.
Yeah, it's cancer has allowed me to have this major awakening. It also allowed me to enjoy my beautiful home that I worked so hard to recreate. And it's been the biggest gift to just really be a mom and a wife without any other distractions and pulling me in 20 different directions where I can be really present in the moment. I am not one to enjoy my son and be on my cell phone. I refuse. I need to really be present in the moment and enjoy him, because he's 8 years old, and before you know it, these precious moments when they're young are going to be gone. And I just don't want to miss out on any of that anymore. And so I will, all in good time, figure out where life is going to lead me. But I'm making sure that I have nothing but pure balance, and it's going to be on my terms, and really just do what I want to do. I'm excited to see where the future holds. And there's going to be a lot of good that has come from this.
I can see it already. And speaking of some of the goods, you already mentioned all of the ways in which you've become resilient and all the positive stuff you brought out through this journey. For moms that are listening, what insights could you share on how to remain resilient?
I think the first thing that comes to mind to remain resilient is really keep trying to find the balance and taking moments of yourself that are truly for yourself. Because many of us moms, we're like the glue that keeps it all together. And without our health and I say health, meaning your mind, your body, your spirituality, there just isn't much left. There isn't anything left. So it's extremely important to really embark on finding that balance and start small. Don't feel like you have to like make a drastic change, just little baby steps, and eventually you'll figure it out. But and just incorporate it into your life, like getting your cup of coffee, fill your soul, do something that feels good to you, and if you can, create an amazing space for you to do that in, even if it's in your car. I mean, there's so many things, from essential oils to a pillow, a blanket, a great conversation, just, a meditation tape, whatever it is that you're gravitating to, just go get it, and don't let anything come in your way, and just don't give up trying to find it.
You're such a fighter in the most beautiful way, though, with a beautiful spirit. Thank you, Debbie.
Thank you, Shilpa.
Thank you for your time and energy and your journey. I know you're going to help so many people through your words and your story. You've already inspired me.
Well, I appreciate you spending some time with me this morning. And
absolutely,
I love you. Sorry, I got a little emotional there. It's hard for me to talk about all this without having a...
Oh, no, that's quite natural.
Yeah.
Thank you, Debbie, for being on the podcast.
Thank you, Shilpa.
Thanks again for tuning in. Check out the links in the description, and please subscribe, follow, and share. And continue to be omnipresent.